How would you best explain the UPG?
Now, think of yourself in Mukuru slums, waking up in the morning, you have your 3 babies who are below 10, and you have absolutely nothing to give them. And you are not even sure whether tomorrow you'll get something to give them. How does that define you? Because when we are talking of ultra poor, that is basically what we are looking at.
Usually, there is a missing middle that live in poverty. So I'm talking about somebody at the age of 35 who is living in some corner of Marsabit. The very context in which they live makes them a lot less productive. They don't have instruments of productivity. Value chains are far more broken down. Yet there is an opportunity for us to invest in these particular houses living in poverty. Just give them the right tools. That I think that is why some talks about job creation, some talks about investment in microfinance and all these skills, so that then they are able themselves to be a lot more productive and get out of poverty. Now that is what is called graduation.
Kenya is a very unique country when you look at it compared to the other sub-Saharan African countries. It is the only country that has been growing with, for the last 20 years. We hear that Kenya is growing at 4.9% at an average for the last 10 years. But then at the macros, you see very big numbers. But down here, you hear people saying we don't have money in our pockets. So what UPG should be trying to do is actually connect these people down here to this economic growth. And this is actually what we are trying to do with the economic inclusion.
Why the focus on poverty graduation, right? Because we have tons and tons of livelihood programs, okay? But poverty graduation, first of all, there's global evidence using what we call RCTs and other very rigorous evaluations that of all the livelihood programs that have been tested or implemented, it is the one that is the most successful in getting people out of extreme poverty. We fund activities, but can we be able to fund for results? So that we say, you give funding only on once you're able to pull somebody out of extreme poverty.
The one big challenge in the social sector is, and this is something maybe I say with a pinch of salt, especially to the economists seated in the room. The economist wants to see, if I give Jane 10 shillings, at the end of the day, how many shillings is Jane giving me back? In the social sector, that is not how it works. And I think that has been the biggest challenge in terms of budgeting for the social protection sector. So we need to start asking ourselves, how do we turn around the narrative of what kind of indicators we are coming up with when it comes to our social protection?
So as people living in this part of the world, we've taken it upon ourselves to try and find mechanisms and approaches that would support us to change the story, to change the narrative, and therefore build approaches that would target the extreme poor and then support them through a balanced set of interventions that are time-bound and with clearly measurable metrics. We don't need to revolutionize it, but we do need to evolutionize it to make it much more effective.